challenges for you living with osteogenesis imperfecta is something I kind of want to explore now. We talked briefly about it just before your cats got entangled in a bit of a wrestling match on the bed there. Poor old Lola and Bruno got at it for a bit, but we're back. And now, can you give the listeners just a bit of a background in terms of what osteogenesis imperfecta are?
Absolutely. But I think, first of all, though, I'd like to say that I believe in the social model of disability. So for anyone who's listening who isn't aware of it, I believe that my condition, so brittle bones, which is osteogenesis, I'm not disabled by that. It's actually my environment. So we can identify that, the disability community, whether that's if you're deaf, disabled, or neurodivergent, we are disabled by 3 pillars. So either physical barriers, information or communication barriers, or attitudinal barriers. So depending on where I am or who I'm with, that's when I become disabled. So although, yes, I've got this condition, which is quite a rare genetic condition. So I believe in the UK, 1 in 15,000 people have got brittle bones. There are different severities. I've got type 3, which is actually a completely different mutation. And what I mean by that is, brittle bones is a hereditary condition. So normally your parents would pass that on to you. But none of my family have the condition. So I was just like a completely different fluke. However, that doesn't mean that I can't then, if I ever choose to have children, I've got quite a higher chance of passing that on. So it's actually, when you talk about brittle bones, people automatically think it might be like a collagen deficiency or something similar to osteoporosis, and it's absolutely not. It's it's a collagen deficiency. So I don't have type 1 collagen in my body. And collagen, so that's people obviously know the word collagen because some people might shove it in their faces. Actually, humans, we produce naturally collagen. There's all different types of collagen, but type 1 is like the biggest kind of collagen, and that can be found in pretty much every aspect of human makeup. So our bones, our arteries, our hair, our skin, and so on and so forth. So me having not producing that type 1 basically means that my bones are incredibly weak and fragile. My joints are very I've got hyperflexivity, so my dexterity is quite weak. So I've got bendy fingers and toes and all that. And also, we can be prone to things such as hemorrhages, deafness, and so on and so forth. But we often only think of osteogenesis to do with the bones, because I guess the skeleton makes up such a huge part of who we are as humans. So when I was born, I was actually born in Germany. My mum's German, my dad was British. He was in the army, my mum was a nurse, so they had a bit of a whirlwind romance. And my sister Stephanie, who is a little bit older, she was born without a disability. And then I came into the world, and I was a bit of a shock to everybody. And unfortunately, the prognosis wasn't that great. Everybody, I always say, everyone had their Debbie Downers that day. Everybody was very negative. And, I came into this world with quite a negative, harmful, stereotypical label. And that was, disabled, and all the negative connotations that go with, being disabled. And I guess I've kind of always wanted to negate those attitudes. And I think my strength is, you can say that it could be circumstantial, but I think my strength has been an innate sense of self-worth. Like I always, my early childhood was me being incredibly confident, incredibly cheeky, incredibly sassy. And, I love the attention that I would get from people. Like, I didn't realize that when people came up to me, this cute little blonde girl in a wheelchair, and they go, oh, boo, 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 boo. Like I talk to my cat basically in a quite a condescending, patronizing baby voice. But I kind of love that. I love being the center of attention. I love being like, yeah, I'm different. And I guess as you get older, and like a lot of us, irrespective of having a disability, we can all relate to the fact that we start to go through puberty, and we start to hate our bodies, and we start to feel self-conscious. So you know, over the years, that sense of self-worth definitely got chipped away at, and I started to adopt or internalize the ableism of the world. So the ableism is the ideology that if you know, you're only seen as normal or of value in this world if you can walk, if you can see, if you can talk, if you don't deviate from, you know, society's image of what normal is. So I started to internalize a lot of that, and I suppose my teenage years, I felt very, very alone and felt like disability absolutely is a dirty word, and I should feel ashamed of that really big characteristic, that really big part of my identity.